Hey, everybody. Welcome to night 4 of the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois. A great city, not a war zone, J.D. Vance. And we are at a beautiful speakeasy called The Room Above on Wabash Avenue. I highly recommend it. It is fabulous. We've had some very fine cocktails. Not so much as to impair our TV broadcasting judgment. But
maybe I did. I might have. This is the first time I'm actually having a real cocktail.
So you've had mocktails the last 3 nights, and I salute you for that.
But this is the thing. I couldn't be in a speakeasy and have a mocktail.
You felt like you were betraying the history of speakeasies and their glorious role in our society.
And a glorious role in Chicago, because Chicago is known for speakeasies, is known for cocktail culture, and so I couldn't insult the city in the way that J.D. Vance did, as you pointed out. He said something in a video that the reason why they did the DNC here is so that Tim Walz could say that he served in a combat zone. So even though that strategy was already failing, going after Tim Walz and with this stolen valor strategy, already doubling down on a failed strategy that is the Trump campaign.
But I have a feeling J.D. Walz is the guy in the bar at 4:30 in the morning who's like, yeah, you better come home with me. You better, or I'll say bad things about you. I'll tell your friends you're a slut. Whatever it is. This is not a strategic approach that works when you see this city. Are there rough parts of Chicago? Of course. But this is a beautiful American city. Mm-hmm. And I think in a lot of ways, this convention being here, mm-hmm. it really honors a part of the country that gets forgotten in a lot of conventions. Mm-hmm. That Midwest feel here, and this is a city that's booming. This is an optimistic city. And people, I think, are feeding off that energy here at the convention because the vibe here is mm-hmm. really fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great city. It's a diverse city. It's a city, and this is it's provincial in many ways as well. Like it's a Midwestern city. It's cosmopolitan, but it's a Midwestern city. And so, what I'm loving is seeing the diversity of people coming together at the convention and experiencing the energy. And I want to talk about the energy last night.
Wow,
the roll call?
Off the chart.
The roll.
Listen. I don't know who decided Lil Jon was going to come down there and turn down for what, but let me tell you something. They're a damn genius, because you watch the contrast. The Republican National Committee. It's like the great state of Georgia pledges its 47 delegates to our God King Donald Trump, and last night you've got Lil Jon booming through the audience. It was amazing and fun.
And strategically, you're going to have so many more people who are being pulled into the political fold because of Lil Jon's performance. Because a lot of people will say, like, oh, why would you have this person? Like, what do they have to do with politics? No, this is really important because politics is for everyone. And that's what the DNC demonstrated last night, and bringing everybody in. And so it was energetic. It was incredibly exciting.
And fun.
Politics can be fun.
I keep going back to that because this is like, when you're at the DNC this year, you don't see any mass deportation now signs, and you also don't see like full communism now signs either. Sorry, Republicans, I hate to break it to you, but nobody here is a communist.
Yeah.
I mean, or if they are, they're an amateur communist, not really a pro-am communist. But look, last night you saw some performances at a very high level, and you saw. I want to talk about the sweet spot first, and that was Doug Emhoff talking about not only his love for Kamala, but speaking to her character and talking about something tens of millions of Americans understand, and that's how do you raise kids in a blended family? How do you merge families after a divorce? And you know what? It's a reality, folks. It happens. And the fact that Doug Emhoff was able to tell that story about the great love he shares with Kamala, about the children that she helped raise, and from his previous marriage, and about the love they all have, including with Doug Emhoff's ex-wife is endorsing Kamala Harris. that moment to me really, I'm going to hear what you think about it, because it really spoke to me about how everybody can put bitterness aside and build a family, because that's really counts in the world.
Yeah, no, it's actually, and I see you getting choked up about it.
Listen, I'm a late in life crier, but I am getting choked up about it. I'm not playing.
Yeah, no, it is beautiful, because in a way it's a microcosm of what we're seeing in America right now. This is what it looks like to heal and come together and to put family over potential arguments or any sort of vitriol, and so they came together as a family and are that much stronger because of it. And so it's so interesting to me that Republicans will constantly attack Democrats and say, oh, they're not pro-family. Like, that's one of the lion tracks, they're not pro-family. What's more pro-family than ensuring that your family, even though it didn't work out the way everyone would have wanted it to, is now stronger and bigger in many ways? And I love that Doug Emhoff's ex-wife is endorsing Kamala as well and campaigning.
And that video was amazing.
Yes.
That really, I thought, was touching, and I thought it really, again, it was like the proof case of this unified spirit. I also like that Doug Emhoff, he is not quite as Midwestern emotionally nerd dad as Tim Walz, but Doug Emhoff was talking about this woman he loves so intensely, and how she puts up with no bullshit, whether it's in life or in politics or in when she was a prosecutor. And I loved it. I loved it so much, because it speaks to the fact that these are two people who love each other unconditionally. He knows exactly who she is. She's tough as nails. She puts up with 0.0 bullshit. And I'm sure he's had the look from time to time.
That look?
Oh, I'm sure he's had that look from time to time. But it really came down to being a story of that I think America can relate to. Look, and you got the Trumps up on stage, and every one of them is getting a check for every appearance. It's this transactional whatever. And
mechanical in a way. It feels mechanical versus what we see.
Yeah, it does. It does. Melania's not going to show up until the Venmo clears,
If then.
If then, right. Donald, why are you not dying of wolf poison? But long story short, the contrast there, I think, was really sweet, and the validation of that was really sweet. And look, I do believe in the policy that all future first husbands should be referred to as the first Doug. I think this is a good policy. I would argue for a constitutional amendment in this regard. But
second,
we also saw last night on the stage two barn burner performances in framing attacks on Donald Trump and validating Kamala Harris from the Obamas.
Yeah.
So I think she did a better speech.
You don't even have to say it like that. I think we can come say full-throated. Michelle Obama knocked it out of the park to the point that there was no,
the ball's still traveling. It's orbiting the Earth at this point.
It's reaching other dimensions, and they're going, who wrote this speech? Where did this speech come from? There will be classes taught. This speech is a case study in excellent writing.
She peeled the bark off of him. And I loved one thing about it. She recognized that moment where she said in 2016, when they go low, we go high, no longer worked. And so she didn't try to say, oh, I was wrong about it. She didn't try to say, oh, well, we should think about it differently. She's just like, I'm just going to go straight in on this guy. Well, and she went straight in on that guy.
Well, we talked about earlier, there's a saying, don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Yeah.
And so I think Michelle Obama is the classiest person, because she was patient. She
sure took her time.
She took her time. She was patient. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to let you keep pushing me. Keep pushing me. Keep pushing me. And then she calmly, it was the calmest.
Yeah, there was no over-exaggerated rhetorical heat.
No.
It was just, it was methodical.
Yeah, it was a methodical, calm clapback of all clapbacks, like a surgical precision. And I think Donald was losing his mind.
Oh, I promise you, he's out there wanting to tweet out memes about her, like his supporters have done in the past. questioning everything about her and doing the things that would damage him even more. I am telling you, I have money on the fact that he's going to use the N-word in this campaign by the time it's over. He is that broken right now.
It'll be his last-ditch effort. It really, truly will, because they have nothing left, absolutely. And we do have to talk about Barack Obama's speech, but because that was excellent as well. But I want to say, but
I think Michelle's speech, from start to finish, was so perfectly crafted as an attack vector on Trump. We can't underestimate just how well crafted and well delivered it was. And look, a lot of people are like, when is she running? When is she running? I don't know that she's ever going to run. But if you delivered at that level, holy crap. I mean, that was some damn heat right there. But about Barack's speech, listen, everybody knows that speech, when you look at it, great validation, a little bit of love for Joe Biden, a lot of love for Kamala Harris, a whole cogent and smart critique of Trump. But we all know what the hook of the speech was. The hook of the speech was when Barack Obama's talking about Donald Trump's crowd size and doing the hand gestures. Now,
the moment that happened,
that is to my knowledge the very first dick joke ever made in a convention. I don't know of any other dick jokes that have ever been made in a convention, but he sure did make one about Donald Trump. And again, the fact that you've got surrogates like Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, going after Donald Trump's most sensitive areas of his manhood and his crowd sizes simultaneously, it was perfect. And I got to say, Obama's delivery of that line could not have come down more perfectly. Could not have been he does the hand gesture. He does the slight gag, look at his own hands like, oh, did I just do that? Looks back up at the audience, sort of looks up for a second, and the room just, I was deafening. It was deafening. People were losing their minds.
Well, because you could see that sly look in his eye, because he knew what he was doing, and he knew the cultural moment he was about to create.
He was making a meme right there.
Yeah,
that meme factory was on overdrive.
And what you see is a power couple of all power couples really, truly owning the moment and really taking that moment to define.
That's right.
Define exactly where this whole election is going, which is my favorite line. Well, one of my favorite lines from the speech is that the job that Donald Trump is trying to get is a black job.
Is one of those black jobs. That was Michelle, and it was brilliant because, again, Donald Trump has this weird belief that he's going to win 25, 35, 45% of the African American vote in this country, which is bonkers. Since the Republicans got on the wrong side of the Civil Rights Act in 1964, the average number of black voters in a general election is about 8%. It's gone up about a half a point every 4 years, and as Stuart Stevens says, by the time it's the year 2560, the Republicans will have a majority again with that. But it's never going to happen in the world of Trump. It's just not. And look, it also told us last night last 2 nights, that there are 3 people who will always draw a camera, always draw attention, always draw focus. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and Joe Biden, Dark Brandon in this case, are going to be out there litigating this case against Trump. They're going to be out there hammering this case against Trump. And it makes him crazy to even think about it. And you've seen it today. He's attacking Joe Biden today on Truth Social all day. You're like, are you that broken brained? And the answer, of course, is
yes.
He is that broken brain. Look, we're having a moment right now where here in Chicago the energy level. Yesterday it was through the roof.
The lines were
oh my
to get in.
Lord.
The lines were around the block.
Like crazy town.
Yeah, it's the hottest ticket in town for sure.
Yeah, hottest ticket in town. People were standing room only in the arena. And here's another thing I think that was a very bad night for Donald Trump last night. Here in Chicago, they fill this arena that holds, 30,000 people, whatever it is. People are standing outside for 2.5 hours waiting to get in. Just up the road in Milwaukee, Walz and Harris fill another arena, the same arena Donald Trump was in a few weeks ago for the RNC. It is filled to the rafters. They are, unlike Trump always saying, oh, there's 20,000 people outside. There were tens of thousands of people waiting to try to get in. The energy level here, guys, is scaling up. It is scaling up more and more. There's a degree to which people believe that the Trump campaign correctly is in free fall. Mm-hmm. They're a mess. They can't. I mean, J.D. Vance today barely got enough people out of a nursing home to have 40 people in a parking lot for him to do an event. I mean, I promise you, if you and I grabbed Tim Walz and drove him to a random city in the Midwest tomorrow and said, "Hey, Tim Walz is going to be speaking at,
people would come out with like flannel shirts, sign my flannel
East
shirt.
River High School," yeah. We'd have like the Walz mania.
Yeah.
And look, I think we have got an opportunity here in this. Tonight, you're going to see Bill Clinton. You're going to see some Republicans speaking, or some last night. Mm-hmm. And that's an interesting theme in the convention is the through line. There are principled Republicans who have said no. Mm-hmm. Like John Giles from Mesa, Arizona last night. Stephanie Grisham mm-hmm. from the White House last night. You're going to see Adam Kinzinger tomorrow night. You're seeing a lot of these Republicans who are willing to take that moment where they know they don't get to come back. Mm-hmm. They're like us at that point. Mm-hmm. Me.
Not me.
Not you. Not her. Not her. But they're willing to do that for this campaign and this country and this moment. And I think it's really important that we honor that because nothing in this world communicates a unified campaign more than people from another party who disagree with them on policy, disagree with Harris on any number of ideological questions, mm-hmm. but they know that we can't go back to Trump. They know we can't go back to the country that was perched on the precipice from the moment COVID started until January 6th. So it's going to be a fun night tonight. We got a lot of stuff we're following this evening. A lot of fun we're going to have this evening.
Yeah, I'm incredibly excited for.
It's so exciting.
I'm so excited.
And walls, baby. Walls.
Yes, walls. To the windows.
To the walls. I could continue repeating the lyrics of that song,
but we
the
won't.
Next one's not appropriate for family audience.
To the voters, make it to the polls. I think is how the rest of that song goes. From the windows to the walls, to the voters, make it to the polls.
Skeet, skeet, fellow voters.
Cheers. Thank you so much for joining us for our fourth edition of the
Cocktails and Conversations.
We'll
have more tomorrow. Tomorrow is the big night, everybody. We may even try to live stream a little bit tomorrow during the show if we can get signal. We'll see how that rolls. But we've got the LP posse here in effect. Once again, the room above on Wabash Avenue in Chicago is a speakeasy. It is terrific. We've had a great time here tonight. We had a little LP party here for a lot of our friends and supporters. Yeah. And it's been a great evening. We wish all of you the best. Tune in tonight to watch the rest of this remarkable convention. Yep. And we're hearing there's some surprise entertainment tomorrow.
I've heard.
And we've heard a lot of rumors.
Put your dancing shoes on.
We've heard a lot of rumors. I will tell you one rumor I can confirm. It is not Kid Rock.
We'll see you next time, guys.
See you, folks.